out of 10, to run a 17-minute 5K, how much effort do you have to put in to run a 17.5? Like, honest answer.
2, 3.
This guy right here is Stephen Scullion, and as you can probably tell, he's an absolute beast on the running scene. He's an Olympic marathoner, a YouTube sensation, and just seems like an overall top bloke. And this is me. I'm overweight, I've got a terrible level of cardio, but I have a crazy plan and a dream.
Without having run a marathon before, I'm going to buy Stephen's training plan. And over the next 4 months, I'm going to see if it will transform me into an elite runner like Stephen, or leave me limping to the finish line. In this video, you'll see the highs and lows of tackling this brutal 16-week plan as a marathon noob, and I'm going to share some insights along the way. But before we dive into the training, let me explain where I was starting from. You might think that someone who's run a half marathon in the past would find it easy to get back into running, but trust me, that couldn't be further from the truth. For a bit of context, I've had a couple of running phases in my life, but nothing lasting more than about 4 months or so. I'm probably a beginner creeping into that intermediate category. However, there is a caveat. At the moment, I am 100 kilograms, which in running terms means slow. So technically I have had experience, but running at this heavy a weight, that's a whole new game for me. Now, in terms of the race and the training, I signed up for the marathon in Cairns, Queensland, and bought Stephen's 16-week marathon plan. And this plan is pretty intense. It includes 6 runs a week and a rest day. Within the weekly training structure, we have 2 recovery runs, 1 easy run, 2 speed sessions, and a long run. All of these runs ramp up in intensity and distance through the plan. So with all those logistics out of the way, let's jump into the challenge.
So just back from my first run of the marathon program. It's really tough getting back into it. I can really feel the extra weight in my body, and my joints are struggling, and it just feels hard, but keep going, see how it goes. So that is week 1 of the running completed, and it's going all right. My legs are recovering well enough for the most part. The issue is the runs themselves are just really difficult at 100 kilos. Like, it's just hard. So I know I got to hold on for another couple of weeks, and the runs will start to get easier.
As you can see, the extra body weight really affected me from the start, but at this point it was still just discomfort.
Just had a really good workout run, 3 times 15-minute tempo. Got a really good runner's high. Didn't feel like shit for once, so.
In saying this, there were still positive moments that were springing up during the training. I wasn't aware of the pain that was about to come.
It was a bad day today. Just near the end of week 4, I just had a long run to go tomorrow, and that would have been 4 weeks done, but surprise, surprise, this big increase in exercise has caused a bit of an injury.
After a few weeks with this heavy training load, my body was starting to show signs of wear and tear.
Just at the end of week 4, before my 4th long run, the run the day before, my Achilles, I got some really kind of acute pain. Now I'm used to some like Achilles niggles and some like little injuries with the soleus muscles, but this was a really sharp and acute pain when I ran, which isn't usual for me. So I took 3 runs off, about 4 days break. Tomorrow I'm going to test it, see how it is, and I really hope it's just fixed itself. Like, really hope.
Luckily I had a little holiday planned, which I thought would give me time to get back on my feet, but...
So I just got better from the running injury, and now I'm sick. Fantastic.
So with the holiday and the sickness, that pretty much knocked out a whole week of training. And my first run back after feeling better was a long run. And luckily I actually had my girlfriend and my mum to accompany me and support me for this run. But they weren't really in the discomfort zone with me. They were riding bikes, and I think enjoying seeing me struggle just a little bit. I think this run actually ended up being definitely top 2 hardest runs in the whole training block, because I'd taken a week off, and although maybe my fitness hadn't gone down, my body just forgot how to run, and it was just really hard.
So, halfway point today, 8 weeks to go. How's the first 8 weeks gone? Not well, as you might have seen. Injuries, holidays, getting sick, skipping workouts, being really lazy on the diet, not improving as fast as I want to be. I'm not losing weight nearly as fast as I need to. Things have to change. The only chance I have now is to really just lock in for these last 8 weeks. No more skipped workouts, stricter on the diet, better sleep. That means waking up at the same time every day. So we gotta lock in if we want to make this work. One silver lining is that the pain in both my Achilles is gone, so I don't have to like
warm up for 10 minutes, stretch them out, warm up for another 10 minutes. That's gonna really help me just get more quality in there, run a bit faster. But we can still do this. We just gotta, just gotta lock in. Lock in. Lock in. You have to lock in. So things are not going too bad. Been pretty consistent. I just haven't had like a really good run in a while. So I'm just holding on, trying to be consistent. And looking back, here was one of the lowest points of the journey. So this is my 4th or 5th interruption to this training plan yet again. Very frustrating. Developing some Achilles tendonitis, which is really frustrating because it just gets worse if you try running it. You can't really make it better. You just have to rest. So I think with how disrupted this marathon training has been, I got to give up on some goals. I think my body just wasn't ready for this volume of training. But that means next time I try it, I'll just be stronger. So it is what it is. You just got to keep pushing through. See, my goal time for the marathon at this point in the journey was 3 hours and 15 minutes. With how disrupted the training had been so far, I was really having serious doubts as to whether this was possible. And to go along with all the injuries I was getting, life was getting in the way too. So things are hectic. It is all ramping up. We're moving out of our house. I really increased my training load, was really a lot stricter on the diet. I actually started losing a lot more weight. And then I got another Achilles injury, which is like my 3rd Achilles injury, all in different places of my Achilles, different legs. So I got to take a break from the running for another couple of days, another speed bump. But just going to use this time to really focus and lock in on the diet, because I know that every kilo I lose is another couple of seconds I can shave off my average pace. But bonus update, I got some real cool new tech, which I'm really hyped about. One second. First, Open Runs by Shocks. They're bone conducting headphones, so they sit over the top of your ears so you can still hear everything. Don't really know how it works, but it works really well, whatever it is. This, which is a heart rate monitor that sits around your upper arm, like I'll put it on just there around your arm, and actually give you a really accurate heart rate reading, much more accurate than your watch. Just have the confidence that you know you're training in the right heart rate zone. For me, I just love it. Last piece of tech for this training block, I bought a pair of super shoes which have a carbon plate that runs through them. You can kind of see it underneath. When you wear these things, you just want to fly. Like, it's a pretty crazy feeling putting them on for the first time. So really, really hyped up about this tech. If you couldn't tell, I love my tech. Anyway, so a little update. We are just under 4 weeks out. In terms of how the recent running's been going, it's been going really well. Super shoes have been going amazing. The carbon plate, great. The kind of hidden benefit I didn't really know about was how much better recovery is. And even after long, 15K plus runs, the next day I'm recovering a lot better. Like my legs aren't as sore waking up and stuff. So, and yeah, check in with you in another week or two. So, little update. We've just completed the peak run 2 weeks out, which was 2.5 hours, and it was hell, but we got through it and we're now in the taper. So I get to kind of taper off all the runs, not run as hard, which is an awesome feeling. The plan right now is to start off at about a pace that will get me 3:20, which I believe is 4 minutes 45 a kilometer. And then assess how I am at halfway. If I'm feeling good, I'll just hold it. If I'm not, I'll drop back and just try and hit an average of 5 minutes per kilometer to get to sub 3:30. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're just going to taper off slowly the next couple of weeks, enjoy the runs, and then start the carb load for race day, which is the bit I'm most excited about because I get to eat like crazy. And after my last big run, I didn't really film much because there wasn't much to really report during the taper, but I did really enjoy the taper, just bringing back the mileage and just enjoying some of the running again. As I was walking through the airport, I realized I hadn't really done a trip like this alone before, and the anticipation and the nerves were really crazy. It was a wild experience. It's my hotel breakfast station. We got the tiny toaster, and we got bagels with peanut butter, banana, one there. And on this day before the marathon, I met up with some mates who were also running the race, and we explored Cairns a bit, what there is to explore. But we probably shouldn't have done 20,000 steps the day before a marathon. But hey, when in Rome, or Cairns. And so it was the big day, marathon time. 16 weeks of grueling training had led up to this moment. And surprise, surprise, I was way too nervous to get out my phone and film it all. But I'm gonna recap what happened. So I got a little warm up in before the race, and before I knew it, bam, I was in the starting corral and gun went off. And as soon as I started running in that first kilometer, things didn't really feel 100%. And it was about kilometer 3, I just decided, yeah, my body's not doing a 3-hour 15 marathon today. I'm gonna drop back to the 3-hour 30 group. And running with this group was great. I really felt like I could keep up with them for a long time. But just as I was feeling good, the tummy began to rumble. So it was at this point in the race where I just needed to find a toilet. I hadn't managed to get everything out before the race. So what I did was I tried to sprint ahead of the group to go to the toilet, and then hopefully I could catch back up to them. But trying to sprint ahead really took it out of me, and although I went in record time in that toilet, probably the fastest I've ever done, I still found myself like a minute behind the group. And I spent the next 10 minutes or so trying to catch them, but I realized that that was just gonna ruin me. So I was on my own. And for the next 10 Ks between about 19 kilometers and 29 kilometers, things just went downhill. I started getting in my own head, and then my body started turning on me. The wall had come to get me. Now, up until this point, I actually thought the wall was a mental barrier, but turns out it's actually a physical one. You see, what I now know is it's the point in which your body stops using the carbs in your muscles for fuels because it's run out of them, and it turns to your fat stores. And what this essentially does is put your body in power saving mode. Unfortunately, there's not really any way to push through it mentally. You just have to slow down. And so that's what I did. I admitted defeat and I slowed down to a jogging pace. I've never felt that type of pain before, that type of discomfort. And I started getting cramps in my whole legs. So I had to push through for another 5Ks again, and then I had to go to the toilet again for a second time. And I nearly couldn't stand up off the damn thing because my legs were cramping so badly. So I shuffled through till about 2Ks to go. At this point, literally every muscle that I could think of in my legs was cramping. My glutes, my quads, my hamstrings, my calves, just everything fully locking up. But I was really proud that I pushed through that moment and made it through to the finish line in just under 4 hours. So not even close to the 3-hour 30 goal. So I've had a bit of time now to reflect on the whole experience, and I've had to think about the 3 things that I would have wanted to tell myself before the training. Number 1 being increase the volume of training slowly. Being in that injury cycle was no fun, and I wish I just listened to the advice that I had heard and been given. The next thing is I would have told myself not to set a time goal, because having the time goal meant that when I failed the time, I felt like I had failed the race instead of feeling accomplished for finishing a marathon, which is something that, given all the effort you'd put in, is something that you'd want to be proud of yourself for achieving. And the last thing I tell myself is just trying to enjoy the day. You put in so much hard work, you spent money on the ticket, just enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy it, because when it comes to the day, there's very little you can control about the result. But this is not the end of this story. I am coming back for another marathon, and if you want to see that, please like and subscribe. Thank you.